people aren't always the best judges of their own games, and it doesn't necessarily mean that their goals are what. Everybody's goals are different. Like some people just say, I just want to hit the ball more solidly. I don't care if my score goes down. I just love hitting the ball solidly, and that's totally fine. But if you're interested in getting better, then you should be really realistic about where your strengths and weaknesses are, rather than just kind of like, my short game's okay. Yeah, well, relative to what is it okay? Relative to your buddy who skulls it out of the bunkers, or is it relative to a scratch golfer who can, put that ball within 4 or 5 feet on every chip and have a great chance of getting it up and down?
Golf Smarter number 739 is brought to you by CryoFreeze Pain Relief Roll-On. There is page after page of customers saying they've tried everything, and Omax CryoFreeze is so good that they're now buying it for family and friends. And that's probably why their product reviews showcases 95% of 5-star reviews. The PGA pro Kyle Stanley, he uses CryoFreeze CBD to recover both on and off the course. So do I. So try CryoFreeze Pain Relief Roll-On. Go to omaxhealth.com, O-M-A-X, omaxhealth.com, and enter code GolfSmarter to get 20% off CryoFreeze and anything site-wide. Tracking stats is the most effective tool if you want to lower your golf scores with Josh Zander.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter podcast, Josh.
It's great to be here with you again, Fred. Looking forward to it.
How have you been, man? How's the family? Have you anybody get beat up yet?
We have survived. We're fortunate. Nobody's gotten sick. We've been doing our part and driving each other a little bit crazy. I get to go back to work tomorrow. So I kind of feel like I got the get out of jail card, and I just can't wait to get back with my students and start doing what I love to do.
Right. So as we're recording this, it's May 4th, and California is easing the restrictions on golf courses as of today, and which is great news for a lot of us. When you say you're going back to work, are you going to be giving lessons?
I got a full book of lessons tomorrow. I'm ready to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Face to face.
We'll be doing, face to face, social distancing and making sure things are, we're just doing everything according to what the regulations are at Stanford and in the county. But we're ready to go back. I was surprised it took this long for golf because I think in teaching, as long as you're not hands-on with the student, you can keep a social distance and be out in the fresh air. But I'm glad that we're finally back. So hopefully this lasts and we can just continue.
Yeah. Do you is not being able to reach over and touch your students' clubs, his back, around the back, anything like that? Is that going to be difficult? Are you a handsy kind of guy?
Well, I like to be able to move people into positions and have them feel things. I often grab the club while they're swinging and moving into different places because, people can't necessarily see what they do, but they can feel when I'm putting them into certain positions. So I'm going to have to do a lot of demonstrating, a lot of kind of monkey see, monkey do, maybe some mirror work, just get more creative with my language. I communicate with my students in all these ways, but I feel like I have been, one of my biggest tools has been taken away by not being able to get my hands on them and actually get them to move through different positions. Because sometimes I'll put my hands on the club and move, and they're like, "Wow, that feels so different than what I'm doing." And so I'm going to have to get them to do some stuff. So I might surprise myself with some different ways, and maybe this will be a growth period for me too, to teach in different ways.
Yeah. It's going to be weird. You're definitely like, oh, can't do that. You're just going to go right back into your rhythm. And it's like, nope, can't do that. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that.
But it's interesting just in regular life, how now it's like you see somebody shaking hands with somebody else, like in a movie or something, like, whoa, that's wrong. It's just like it is ingrained. It's been a short period of time, but it is ingrained. Don't get near anybody.
It's so true. We were watching a show that took place in the 40s and like, get away from each other.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
High fives, no more.
Yep. People with babies, these kids are gonna grow up, and like, when I was your age, we used to shake hands with people.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the greetings are going to be like tomorrow. I have like 10 or so students that I'm going to see tomorrow, and I don't know if it's going to be the bow or the wave or the smile, or we'll see how it goes.
Well, you can go low 5 and tap shoes.
Okay. All right.
That's what I've been doing. I've been tapping shoes with people.
That's hard to be 6 feet away and tap shoes.
All right. Well, then tap your drivers.
There you go.
You tap driver.
Yeah.
A salute with the driver. Oh, man. The craziest time. But thank goodness we have golf.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to do some phone calls with students and some FaceTime with students. Online lessons, which we'll talk a little bit about my app, being able to do things that way. So we're getting to the point where technology is so advanced that we may not have to be around each other as much, which is kind of a bummer, because part of why I love my job so much is I'm meeting awesome people all the time and getting to spend time and really, becoming friends with them along with being their golf instructor. And that's, that was kind of taken away for the last couple months. So, I'm really, I just can't wait to be around people again. What can I tell you? It's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. How many children do you have?
We have 2, 11-year-old boy and 9-year-old girl. Yeah.
You ready for a break, Dad?
I'm definitely ready for a break. But it has been a chance to do some things with my kids that I haven't been able to do before. I mean, I know more about 3rd and 5th grade math and social studies and spelling and cursive. I mean, I've become along with my wife, I've become the teacher. So I'm definitely seeing what's going on with their education and where they're excelling and where they're struggling. And my daughter and I have been doing times tables, and sometimes she enjoys the time and we're having fun. Other times she wants me to get lost. And we didn't sign up to be elementary school teachers and, social workers and parents all at the same time. But as a friend of mine says, we were voluntold rather than volunteered to do that. And we've survived. And now my wife has a huge challenge because she's going to have to be at home with them while I'm back at work. And that'll be interesting. And
is your wife also have a career that she's working from home?
Yeah, she runs a food tour business. So she's been, shut down for the last few months. But she is all about being with the people. She just can't get enough of. She's an extreme extrovert and loves gatherings. We're always having people over at our house, and she loves getting people together and showing them her passion about food and the local food scene. And so she's definitely, it's been a bummer for her. But hey, it is what it is, and we got to just make the best of it. So.
Yeah. We have an 11-year-old nephew who last week mom called us and said, I can't help him. I don't with his homework because I don't know how to teach English. I can do numbers like crazy, but English is not my thing. And my wife happily volunteered to get involved. And she's been, it's about teaching English and parts of speech. So what she's been doing with the nephew is Mad Libs on FaceTime.
Nice.
And it's really, their relationship is solidifying. That's going to last a lifetime now of how she's been there for him. It's just very beautiful. Cool.
Well, our kids are doing things around the house they never used to do before. So they're
like what?
Dishwashers, they're making beds, they're taking out garbages, they're vacuuming, they're wiping down things. I mean, it's like, hey, these are skills they're going to have when we send them out into the world. So they got a strong dose of it.
If you ever send them out to the world.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
God.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean that.
We're going to get passes. We're going to get passes.
Yeah, well, and you're around a college campus, too, so it must be really quiet around there.
It's totally quiet. I mean, it was quiet before they had sent the kids home, even before I stopped, which was around March 8th, I think was my last teaching day.
Wow.
But yeah, the kids aren't coming back until, I don't know when they're coming back. I mean, I don't think they've established when that's happening yet. So
unbelievable.
Yeah. And the golf season's got shut down and graduations. And yeah, it's a bummer on a lot of levels, but there's some positives in there too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different world from here on out, but we'll deal with it as we do. As we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PGA Tour, I'll tell you, there's one thing I'm really looking forward to for the tour to come back, and that is what it's going to be like with no galleries.
Yeah.
To see how many balls these guys lose. I'm really looking forward to seeing how many balls they lose.
That's true. They get that little kick back into the fairway, bounce off the person, or doesn't go too deep into the rough, or doesn't reach the out of bounds. There's no doubt. And also, I mean, having played some high-level tournaments in my time, it's fun to have those people out there because they kind of define your target for you. I mean, they're right along the edges, so it's just like a really clear message to your brain as to where you're supposed to hit it, because it's kind of it's defined for you really well. And then, like you said, they get away with some things, and it's really hard to lose the ball when you got thousands of people around.
Yeah. Time to take a quick time out. This episode of the Golf Smarter podcast is brought to you by Omax Health and their Cryo Freeze CBD roll-on. Have you ever recommended CBD products for any of your students who have issues with pain and anxiety?
Yeah, I've definitely suggested it. I mean, anytime we can do something that's natural rather than some sort of narcotic, I'm all for it. And there's too much with the whole opioid crisis in our country, and people get hooked on painkillers and stuff. Just using something alternative like CBD, I think is a great idea. So I'm all in for that for sure.
Well, that's an incredible testimonial. Thank you very much, Josh, for telling us about that. And any golfer who lives with chronic pain, they know it's the absolute worst. And it's more of a feeling of discomfort that can affect your entire game, right? So because once you're distracted by aches and pains, you can't swing the club properly. You're thinking about something else and you're holding back or you're trying to overcompensate. It's the worst thing you can do. Well, this is why I want to introduce you to Omax Health. If you're looking to get rid of the nagging muscle and joint pain immediately while providing long-lasting recovery, then you need to try the natural breakthrough pain relief solution, Cryo Freeze CBD Roll-On, developed by Omax Health. This non-prescription triple action pain relief roll-on is specifically formulated to block pain receptors, reduce inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. The best part is it's 100% natural. CBD-powered remedy works its magic within 10 minutes of application, and the relief can last for up to 8 hours. It's amazing. So I want you to check it out. And I want you to make sure that you get the 20% off on anything on their website. They're at Omax Health, OMAX Health.com. And when you enter Golf Smarter at checkout, you'll get 20% off of the Cryo Freeze and anything else you find on that website that you like. Again, Cryo Freeze at Omax Health, OMAX HEALTH, omaxhealth.com, and enter the code GolfSmarter to get 20% off site-wide on all their products. Josh, you have just released something really interesting, and that is a new app, Xander Golf.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that and how helpful it is. I did a deep dive, but boy, it became a rabbit hole for me. I started and was in it. Multiple hours later, I was still looking at different videos and whatnot. It's really good.
So it's first of all, it's free to be able to look at all those videos. So that's great. And a lot of those videos will be on there. A lot of those videos you can see on my YouTube channel as well. But it's basically my instruction and a chance for to look at different aspects of the game and get some ideas from some of my instructional videos. And then it's also a place where you can do online lessons where if you can't get on my schedule or you're not, geographically in a place where you can see me in person, then it's a chance for you to send me your swing. I've partnered up with SurveyMonkey, so we've developed a survey to find out some more information about what's going on with your game, because I'm all about making sure with anything I say, I want it to help. So getting that information from the student, it's just a 15-question survey. There's another one for short game too. But it just gives me a general idea of like what your ball flight is, what your contact is, what you struggle with, what your best club is. And all this is giving me pieces of the puzzle that I need to help you. And then obviously getting to see the video of what you do with your swing. And then I can do some voiceover analysis and draw my lines on the screen and tell you, what you need to do. And everybody's different. So my prescription for one person is going to be different than the other. But it's a great way to be in touch with more people. There's only so many hours in the week I can teach, but this way I have the ability to extend my reach to more people. Another cool thing about it is there's a forum on there where people can throw up swings or questions, and I can interact with the world at large, if you will, on that forum. And it can be really anything. I feel like it's a great source of questions for me to maybe do instructional videos about. If somebody has a question about a certain kind of shot, I'm like, oh, there's another idea of another video I can pop in the library that'll help not just that person but other people. So and then for my in-person lessons, it's a place where I can store all of your lessons in your locker on the app. So I like to do video summaries of lessons so people can remember what we did and the prescribed drills, and that'll all be in your locker. There are other apps that do it, but now I have a personal app, so anybody who comes to me will have their own virtual locker where they can store all of their notes, their videos, my lessons. It's all in one place. It's really convenient for them. So it's
all private. The locker is secure.
Yeah. Only accesses me and the student, and they can add other people if they want. Something like a junior may want their parent to be able to have access or not to their locker. So yeah, it is that is a private part. The videos are open to the public. The forum is open to the public. So if you do post something on the forum, be prepared that it's going to be going out to not just me, but other people as well. So
whoever's on the app.
Whoever's on the app. So.
Whoever's on the app. I'm curious about the questionnaire. Are people honest? What they're struggling with? I mean, and can they really identify what they're struggling with?
They're pretty simple questions. Do you hit it fat? Do you hit it thin? Do you hit it solidly? Is your miss left or miss right or is your miss straight? I actually had a really cool experience where I taught a very good quarterback in the NFL who's moved to a different team, and I'll leave it there. And that was all done kind of long distance. And the information I got was that the ball was going left. And that was the main thing. The power was there, but the ball flight was left. And just doing some simple grip tests with him, the next day went out and hit balls, and he saw a lot of progress. So that little bit of information may seem trivial to the person. Oh yeah, my ball starts left, it curves this way. My best club is my 9-iron. That probably usually means they're steeper with their swing. If their best clubs are driver, they're a little shallower. So there are hints for me that will help me help them. And then I can really see in the video on top of that what's going on. So it works out pretty well when I get that information. So the questionnaire may seem simple, but it's very helpful for me.
I would think so. I would think that it would be very helpful. But I'm just curious if people, because just watching people on the driving range or playing golf and talking to them, it's like, oh, what do you think is the worst part of your game? And it's off the tee. Well, actually, your short game is not great. It's like, just because you're on the green doesn't mean from 40 yards doesn't mean that was a great shot just because you're on the green, right? Right. That's something maybe you want to try to get that a little closer, do some stuff. So do people identify My dog wants to go outside. If people, can they identify that they do struggle with that?
Yeah. So I think that people aren't always the best judges of their own games, and it doesn't necessarily mean that their goals are what. Everybody's goals are different. Like some people just say, I just want to hit the ball more solidly. I don't care if my score goes down. I just love hitting the ball solidly, and that's totally fine. I don't put my expectations on them at all. I don't set my goals for them. I want them to set their goals, and then my job is to help them, strive towards them and get them on the right track. But if you're interested in getting better, then you should be really realistic about where your strengths and weaknesses are. And there's some great programs out there, right, to help you identify that. I just had a conversation this morning with Mark Sweeney, who's known for Aimpoint, but he's also developed GameForge. My GameForge, I think it's called, and it's a place where you can enter very few stats and get a lot of information. And he's just great at identifying, where you need to put in the work. And he even has a system where it shoots out drills based on where your weaknesses are. So what a great program! You should have him on your show. So that gives you a realistic, idea of like, okay, here's where I really need to spend my time. Rather than just kind of like, my short game's okay. Yeah, well, relative to what is it okay? Relative to your buddy who sculls it out of the bunkers, or is it relative to a scratch golfer who can, put that ball within 4 or 5 feet on every chip and have a great chance of getting it up and down? So everybody's got different goals, but that's all part of the interviewing process of understanding what the student wants, and that's what I want to help them achieve what they want, not what I want. It's their game, it's their journey. And I'm just there to help them along. Yeah.
Actually, Mark was when Aimpoint came out. I did have Mark Sweeney on the show.
Yeah.
So you're right. They should get him back on because the statistics are. Hey, it's all about the facts. It's not about opinions anymore. I mean, it's so interesting that a whole many generations of golf instructors are teaching based on what they know and what their gut tells them.
Right.
And now that you have metrics, you have statistics that you can just look at it and go, okay, I need to work on this is where I'm having my problem.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, going back now, of course, I keep dating myself on your show, but I was playing professional golf in the early 90s, and I literally was doing my stats on a piece of paper. And I had pretty rudimentary stats relative to what's happening now. But what I would do is I would do my stats after every round. And after 10 rounds, I'd look at them and see what was going on. And then I would set goals based on that. So, for example, I remember one of my stats was like up and down percentage when I was between 30 and 60 yards from the hole. And I think a good stat there would be 60% up and down. So if you get 60% of the time up and down between, when on a 40 or 50 yard shot, that's pretty good. And then if it wasn't there, then I'd try to get it to be a little bit higher. But the cool thing was it would basically just point out here what my weaknesses were. So I had this thought, and again, this was my gut when I was playing. I felt like if I could shoot 468s, I could win anywhere on the planet. So 468, 60 under par. You could probably do some stat analysis of how much money you would make if you shot 60 under par every week. And it became very interesting to me what the anatomy of a 68 was. It didn't become a mystery. And then I could say, hey, I don't need to all of a sudden become this world-class ball striker. I just need to get a little better here, a little better here, a little better here, keep improving my weaknesses. And then you can really see what it took to shoot a 68, right? And one of the interesting things that Mark has done with his program is you can literally look at one page and you can see everything that you do better than whatever he can compare you to a top 10 player in the world. He can compare you to somebody who's a college player, a junior. He says, if you want to be tour quality, you've got to be X percentage in these categories. If you want to be a Division I college player, you got to be here. If you want to be here. So it's like, oh, now I really know what I have to do, what skills I have to improve, what areas I need to improve to get to where I want to be. And it's not some sort of mystery like, wow, how come Ricky Fowler's on tour? And how come that other guy who's an All-American for 4 years, at wherever, how come he didn't make it? Well, it's because his skills aren't at these levels that they need to be, and that's the difference, you know. And it's not everything, but it's a lot of it, right?
Let's talk more about stats right after this. Josh, you said that when you were keeping your own stats, what kind of things do you mark? What are things that people, middle handicap, weekend golfers, people just going back out, what are the things they should be keeping track of, and how is the best way to do that from your perspective?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's pretty interesting. And again, it's fresh in my mind because I just was talking to Mark about this. Everybody thinks fairways hit's a big deal. It almost has nothing to do with scoring. Distance, huge. Fairways hit, not so much. Would you rather be in the fairway? Yeah. Would you rather be a longer hitter? Oh, absolutely. Because unless the rough is so penal, like a U.S. Open rough, being closer to the hole is better. Being closer to the hole is always better. One of the things he talked about is working with some of the college, because he's done a lot of stuff with colleges. He's working with this one college student who was like always laying up to like full wedge distance on a par 5. It's like, no, get it as close to the green as you can. You're going to score fewer shots from 40 yards than you are from 60, fewer from 60 than you are from 80. It's just the closer you get to the hole, the better it is. So distance is huge. So for those juniors who are listening to your podcast, just work on hitting it as far as you can, because at the highest levels of the game, that's one of the biggest factors. And I know everybody on your podcast wants to hit it longer. I mean, there's no doubt. And there's things we can do as teachers to help you and exercise people who can help you with that. But there's so many stats. Like just one of the things he talked about was, and a lot of the stuff he was talking about was high level golf. So a tour player is going to average at least 7 opportunities of 20 feet and in if he's going to be playing at that level. Under 20 feet for birdie, 7 times around. Wow. And if you're not doing that, you're probably not surviving that on tour.
Wow.
Yeah. So tour players hit 12, 13 greens around. Of those 12 or 13, 7 of them have to be inside of 20 feet to give yourself a realistic option of getting it into the hole. Right. And now you realize that 4 of those are probably par 5s, and par 5s are around the green in 2. So, there's 4 pretty good chances of getting it inside of 20 feet after 3 shots. But that's, one thing is like you play a golf course with huge greens. You're like, yeah, I hit 15 greens. Yeah, but you were 45 feet away from the hole on average. It just, you're free putting some of those. You're not going to break par, right? So proximity to the hole, and there's that stat on tour, proximity to the hole after 2 shots on a par 4, 3 shots on a par 5. The lower that number is, the better you're going to score. If you're not good on your procs, you're probably not going to score.
Interesting.
And one of the reasons why Jordan Spieth has fallen is he's not giving himself very many opportunities anymore relative to what he used to. He's got a few opportunities, and even though he's one of the better putters out there, I remember this stat: the best putter, and I may have even said it on your podcast before, but the best 10 putters on tour are worse from 5 feet than the worst 10 putters are on tour from 4.
Keep going. Wait.
Does that make sense? So the bottom line is, the closer you are to the hole, the better you are. That's the bottom line. So like I could take, like, I don't know, who's the best putter on tour these days? Who would you say?
You.
Me. You're the best putter. It's like Harvey Penick said, go to dinner with great putters, right? Because they're always very positive people. But I don't know. Let's just say in his heyday, Tiger was one of the best putters on the tour, right? So he would miss more times from 5 feet than the worst putter on tour missed from 4. That 1 foot's a huge difference. So get your chip closer, right? So when you miss the green, you gotta have that good short game to give yourself a really good chance of getting up and down, or else you're losing a full shot there. And you got to work on your proximity, which is a lot about ball striking. And I rather personally have an 8-iron from the rough than a 5-iron from the fairway.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
So you got to be aggressive off the tee. It's not drive for show. It's drive it as far as you can, because that is where you're going to really help yourself with your proximity on your next shot. Give yourself the shortest second shot in you can, or the shortest third shot in you can.
I find that I'm more consistent on hitting fairways with my 3-wood than I am with my driver, although I'm not bad with my driver, but I'm more consistent with my 3-wood. Obviously, it's not going as long, but it is still out driving some of my buddies who are hitting driver.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hitting it well. But if I see a fairway that's like, it's a little narrow, or there's a little more trouble than I want to deal with, I'll pull out the 3-wood. You're saying pull the driver, go for the driver.
Well, that's where you start getting the mental side of the game, because you've had Pia and Lynn on your show, and they'll say you got your brain, you got your gut brain. If your gut brain's saying don't pull out the driver, you're probably not going to make a very good swing with it.
Yeah.
But let's say I arm you with this new information that we just talked about, saying get it as close to the green as you can. And yeah, every now and again you're going to hit that driver out of play, right? But you'll have a shorter shot in. You'll get closer to the hole in your next shot.
Yeah, I'm less yards away, but there's 4 more trees in the way.
Yeah, not everybody's Henrik Stenson, where they get a 4-iron in their hand and they can hit it inside of 15 feet. His ball striking is unbelievable. So you see him hitting that 3-wood because he can be farther back in the fairway than maybe his peers and still get the ball as close. But that's very rare. Most people, they're just, unless they're awful with their driver, are better off getting practice a lot with your driver. Get really good with your driver. If you can avoid it, don't go back to the 3-wood. And then imagine if you happen to hit your 3-wood and it doesn't go in the fairway. Now you're short and crooked. That's not a good formula.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Well, listen, earlier this year, at the first of the year, 2020, we had new rules that were released by the USGA and the R&A. And then the pandemic hit and everyone walked away from golf courses for a period of time. And now that we have a chance to go back again, maybe there's some ideas of tweaking some of these rules. If you had an opportunity, if they asked you, where would you go? What kind of rules would you change?
I can't stand the way you drop now. I don't know what it is. It's like put the human being in the most awkward position to drop a ball. I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer you're looking for, but that's the first one viscerally that comes to me. Like this awkward situation where like you just hurt your back and you're squatting over and you're like, is it right at my knee? Is it not at my knee? It's just like.
But you don't have to. You could stand the way you always have and drop the ball. You don't have to do it from that low, right?
Is that the case? I didn't know that. You could drop from higher?
Well, I just thought you can't get any lower than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that. I thought you were supposed to drop it from knee height.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway. I don't know. And we'll be back right after this. What about rules that they didn't fix that they could be fixed? For instance, hitting out of divots in the fairway. Should we really have to, can we, it's like, is that really golf? They really want us to punish us any opportunity?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm too much of a purist, but it's like, learn how to hit a ball out of a bad lie. Learn how to hit out of a divot. And if you don't know, I've got a video out there on my app that'll show you how to do it. Get on my forum and ask for it. Because I'll tell you what, you need a steeper angle. Lean the shaft more forward. Put the ball a little more back in your stance. Put a little more weight on your left foot. There's ways of getting it out of divots. And so, yeah, it's a bummer. I'll be the first one to say when my ball hit a great drive, ball's in a divot. But you know what? You got to learn how to hit that shot.
Well, okay. But now there's no rakes in the bunkers anymore.
Just like Pine Valley.
Whoever gets to play Pine Valley. Come on.
Well, not everybody does. I did get an invitation years ago, and so I checked that one off the bucket list. But
I've had an invitation and it reneged, so there you go.
Pine Valley, a bunker's a hazard. They don't have rakes. There's footprints in there. It's not.
Is
pretty.
That right?
Not pretty in the bunker. People in the bunker, they kind of give it the old rake with your foot kind of thing, and then they walk out. There's footprints. They might kind of take their club and kind of give it a few, cursory. I think I did a little decent job there for the next person, but no, it's a hazard, and so I remember when Jack Nicklaus did that thing at Muirfield where he took every other tine out of the rakes. Remember when he did that and he raked the bunkers? It was at the Memorial, and he raked he actually made the bunkers a hazard, and the players went nuts because they're used to having perfect
pristine
bunkers. Yeah, I remember working at the President's Cup one time, and Tom Lehman hit it into a fairway bunker. I think it was Andy Martinez was his caddy, and I watched him rake the bunker, and it looked like a work of art. And I said, wow, that is beautiful. That's better than being in the fairway if ball lands there. That should be the case. I got no problems if there are no rakes and bunkers.
Is that the Andy Martinez caddy that lives in Marin County in Northern California?
He caddied for Lehman. Didn't he caddy for Miller for a while?
Yeah.
So it was.
I did a show with him years ago at a driving range, and I just said, "Tell me what you're watching here. Let's talk about these people at the drive." He was great.
Yeah. So no rakes and bunkers, not a big deal. Learn how to hit out of different lies of the bunkers. That's part of golf. Learn how to hit out of divots. That's part of golf. That doesn't bug me as much. I think anything that'll speed up the pace of play is a good thing. So we're not spending our whole day out there. So I like the idea of being able to drop a ball after you've hit it out of play. I think that's a good rule. So people aren't just hitting shot after walking back to the tee. And but now it'll be interesting. Now when people are playing, they don't even pick the ball up out of the hole. It just hits the raised cup, and you're good.
How do you feel about that?
That's kind of weird, right? Now you can jam it.
Right.
Take the break out.
If you ever come up short, you should be fined. You should never come up short. Just smash it.
Just smash it. Don't miss.
But don't miss. Don't miss. Well, and what about if it brushes on that cup that's sticking up out of the hole? Is that a hole in one? How do you feel about that?
Interesting. Yeah, and how do you know if it actually did from that far away?
Well, listen, here in Northern California and at Stanford, you've got a lot of elevated greens where you'll never even see the ball land. You're just hoping, and you don't know if you had a hole in one.
Yeah.
If it just taps it and rolls by.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, hopefully that won't last for too long, but it's getting people out there. So that's
I did get a chance to play last week, and I was talking about this it was only one other person, but we had another twosome in front of us because it was only two people at a time. And I said, all right, so if it hits the cup, it's a hole in one. They're like, well, that's not right. I'm like, oh, come on, put an asterisk on it. It's a local rule. That's what the local rule is. So that's how you play it. Like, no, gee, I don't know. It's like, oh, you're Barry Bonds fan.
You know what? Here's the deal. And I tell this to every player I teach who plays in tournaments. I say, you know what? It's the same for everybody. It's like, oh, I don't want to play, I had a bad round because it got windy. I'm like, it was windy that day. It was windy for everybody.
That's golf.
It's raining for everybody.
It's golf.
And it's just, and as far as I know, the low score wins. So I don't care what the conditions are. It doesn't matter if you win with 20 over or 20 under. You still, if you're playing in tournaments, don't complain. Just embrace it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not talking about the conditions from the ground, from off the ground. I'm talking about the conditions on the ground, the divots, the bunkers. They're going to probably start changing the type of sand. There's not going to be any big fluffy, they'll just deteriorate. The sand will just deteriorate too fast. They're going to go with like pebbles and rocks.
So you're thinking that we're in this for the long term, and there's not going to be any rakes in the bunkers anymore. That's what you're saying.
I think the world is never going to be the same.
Okay, so what about if that's the case, then you can adjust your lie in the bunker.
Okay. So, thank you. Can I play with you?
Hey, if you and I are playing a match and we're not official handicapping here, then you and I can say, hey, let's do it. You can actually give yourself a reasonable lie in the bunker.
No, you're the one who's talking about shooting 4 under 4 consecutive rounds. So I'm going to take advantage of any opportunity I can to play with you if we're not doing handicaps. Just as long as we agree to it upon, it's like, yeah, it's good. We're good. Let me also just say that on your app, you have your son doing a lot of the shots while you narrate it. And is he a golf savant? He is amazing. He knows exactly what you're talking about. Clearly, he grew up in your house. But, I mean, he pulls it off, too. He's really impressive.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? I mean, he's around me a lot more these days. And so we've been having some fun. That's one of the projects we do together he's like, hey, let's throw something up on Instagram, or let's throw something in your app, and we'll do something together. And I've had recently an injury with my shoulder, so I can't go all out in a swing. So I'm like, well, if anybody can go ahead and rip one right now, it's Matthew. So we're having fun with it, and he's getting better. He's ready to get out on a real golf course. So he's not hitting into our backyard net anymore. But it's been a good way to take a break from school. It's been good togetherness time, and I feel like if he can verbalize it and demonstrate it, he's learning it himself. So he's getting an education, and it's kind of a kick to see it on video, and it's even more of a kick if he gets a like, and usually the first 2 likes are from like his grandparents and his aunt and uncle or something, and then he'll get some likes from like some other teaching pros. I'm like, see, there you go. You're getting likes from people who know. So, but it's been fun, and he's got some talent. So we'll see what he does with it if he runs with it. But it's been fun to watch him develop for sure.
Good luck. Yeah, and he's adorable. So congratulations on that. All right, one more time. Xander Golf is the app.
Xander Golf website. It's available on for the iPhone and for Android as well. So you can go and that's the best thing. I mean, I have my website, xandergolf.com, but I would say download the app, enjoy it, contribute to the forum. If you're interested in having me take a look and give you some advice, sign up for an online lesson. I'd be happy to help you. And and any suggestions of things you want videos of, I would love to hear them, because I'm always looking for new ideas to share.
Great. And better watch out, man, because I think your son's going to be coming on the show soon. We're going to have to do the interview with him to get some tips and insights.
Out of that.
I bet. All right, next time we'll do it. All right, Josh, thank you so much. It was great to talk to you again. I look forward to spending more time in the app and talking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to it.
Hey, our next giveaway winner will be announced on our next episode. And in addition to a brand new 257 Plus hybrid with Turf Glider Sole technology from Knuth Golf, we're adding another product that will help save your clubs from rattling around while you travel to the course. Introducing the Golf Caddy. I picked one up last fall and have not put my clubs in the car without it ever since. Check out golfcaddy.com to learn more, and you can get $5 off if you want to purchase one as a gift or for yourself when you use the checkout code GolfSmarter. Make sure our Golf Smarter's in all caps on this one. So to win both the Golf Caddy and the Knuth Golf 257 Plus Hybrid, enter before this coming Sunday, May 10, 2020, at midnight Pacific Time, 3 a.m. Eastern. When you register, you'll also find links to Knuth Golf for a coupon code of 25% off your purchase for a hybrid, fairway metal, or driver. Again, enter before May 10 at golfsmarter.com/giveaway2020, or just click on the banner at the top of the page at golfsmarter.com. And this week on Golf Smarter Mulligans number 55, featuring Scott Minnie, we have an episode called The Art of Ball Striking and Shot Making. Here's a taste.
Hogan had a great line when he used to go through the ball, and he said his knuckles used to point down at the ground when he hit the ball. And a inexperienced golfer, a high handicapper, their left wrist, their knuckles point up to the sky going through the ball because they're trying to use phrases like get under it. I'm trying to get under it today. When I hear that line, I just laugh my head off. You know, and a lot of people around me laugh at it too. As soon as you hear a golfer say, I'm trying to get under this one, well, they're defeated right from the start, because that's going to promote the bad left hand cupping through the ball and scooping it up, and I'm trying to get under it today. Well, I mean, you're beat right from the start.
Scott's book is called Smash and Carve Golf, and it's available as a PDF at smashandcarvegolf.com. That's our sister podcast from the archives of 400-plus hours of Golf Smarter interviews called Golf Smarter Mulligans, and it's released each Friday. You can find it wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hopefully, this is one of them. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Golf Smarter. Read more about our weekly content in LinkedIn. Or if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for me, please click on the Hey Fred button at golfsmarter.com. Have a great week.